Hi, and welcome to Creative Pizzazz. This is Leslie. I've been looking at the Tim Holtz Alterations alphabet dies for a while. I've been wanting a strip die, basically a 1-inch alphabet. I don't have anything larger as far as the die goes, but that 1-inch size is really great for tags, frames, and mini albums. And so I've been wanting one for a while, and I just couldn't decide what I wanted. I wanted the chipset, I think it's called chipset, or the chip block, or the typeset, which is a more of a block lettering. I wanted those, but I also wanted vintage market because I really like the shape on these letters. So, you know, I thought about it and I couldn't decide. You know, vintage market wouldn't really be good. In some situations, I'd rather have, you know, something that wasn't shaped like this. So, you know, my mind has been going back and forth for a while. So here you see two examples that's cut from the vintage market, because I did decide to go with a vintage market, and I'll show you why. When I was thinking about which die to get, I had to decide, since I'm financially challenged, I had to decide which one would be more well-rounded, you know, which one is going to give me more bang for my buck. And so you see that I've cut the paper here in the vintage market just as it is. But what you may not know is you can also get the block set, chip set, whatever it's called, the block lettering from the same die. These two were cut using the same. To go from the vintage market lettering to this block lettering, what I did was I took the letter, and I'll move this out of the way to make sure that you can really see what I'm doing. That's why I went with a black background. So then all you're going to do is cut off all of these loops and bumps on the outside of the letters. So very simply, I just evened off the top. Let me get this so you can see. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I evened off the top. I'm having to reach around my camera, that's why my hands are shaking. Well, my hands are shaking because I have multiple sclerosis, but I'm also having to reach around the camera. And then you just snip off the sides. And it will not take you as long as it's taken me. I'm reaching around the camera and in the tripod and trying to get my hand to stay in camera, but yet get around the tripod. Snip off the bottom. And I'm going to cut this here. It's fine with me if it's a little bit short. Make that straight across. And then snip down the side here. There we go. Now I have an L that's a block L. So I have two dies for the price of one just by buying the vintage market. Thank you for stopping by today.